welcome to Fancy Football, where we talk football and talk uh, the Nations Cup at the moment. Um, Today is the opening ceremony of the Nations Cup. What an irony. Um, with me here, I have John. John, good morning, and where have you been?
Good morning, my brother. It's been a while actually. I've been around, but very had a very tight schedule, so I've not been able to be on the program for a while now. But very, very
Um,
lovely to be back.
yeah, we need you. We need you on this show. We need you on this, especially at this moment where we have matches that will be coming thick and fast, and we'll be looking at reactions, post match and pre match reactions. Hopefully, we'll have you, and hopefully,
Definitely,
we'll make use of the time you can give to us. Um,
definitely. AFCON time.
we, yeah, it's our content. We will be looking at matches between Egypt and Mozambique, and Ghana and Cape Verde going to today's show. Um, but how do you think that beginning with the Pharaohs of Egypt? How do you think that the Pharaohs of Egypt should approach this match, knowing fully well that there are minnows in football and also there are no minnows in football? Mozambique are not really that a footballing nation, but sometimes you know that teams can really be well prepared and then they will come into a tournament. Especially the beginning of the tournament is the first match of the tournament is very crucial. Um, can the Pharaohs of Egypt be afraid of anything going to this match?
Well, for me, the Pharaohs of Egypt, they only have one team to be afraid of in this match, and that is the Pharaohs of Egypt. Because complacency, once they are able to put complacency aside, it should be a stream roll for them. The Mozambicans and the Egyptians have met 5 times, and the Egyptians have come out of victorious in all 5 occasions. And I don't see anything changing that status quo tomorrow. The Egyptians, they have the best, they have perhaps the most informed African in Europe at the moment, Mohammed Salah in their team, who has taken Liverpool practically to the summit of the
Are
English
you sure
Premier
he's the most? Are you sure he's the most informed? I don't want to be. Are you sure he's the most informed? He's not the
League. Yes,
most
the
informed.
most informed. The most informed.
No, he's not. He's
If
not the most
you
informed.
ask me the player that can contest that you can name. But for me, it's the most informed
No,
African.
I think Victor Boniface is the most informed African player on the
No,
continent now,
I,
despite he
I
has
beg,
injury
I
to.
beg to differ. However,
Yeah.
let's look at what Salah brings to the table. I think in their last
Yeah.
World Cup qualifiers, Salah netted 4 goals for the Egyptians. He has just been he has just been in a class of his own right now in this since the start of the 2023-2024 season. It has just been easy for him. Now, who are the support parties for him? We have Mohamed Trezeguet there, who has also been in fine form in Turkey. So the Egyptians actually come into this tournament and they are actually lucky. Although it favored them in the 2021 edition when they actually played Nigeria in the first match and lost, and it sort of
Yeah.
jinxed them to life. And you saw them throughout the remainder of the tournament, despite they weren't scoring goals, they were just grappling and they were grappling and they were grappling. Definitely, I see the same thing turning out tomorrow, but I see them actually streamlining this one. It might not be a high scoring match. That I'm assuring you. That's one thing we've known about the Egyptians. They know how to grind it. It might just be a 1 or 2-0 victory. But I don't see anything other than that coming out. The Egyptians are hell bent on making this tournament their tournament. Salah is looking at it as okay, I've gone to 2 finals. Why not? I should be able to take 1 step further. But everything starts for them tomorrow if they are able to keep themselves solid, because we've seen what they've been able to do. I think their approach to football is what the Moroccans have also copied now, and you can see it's working very well for the Moroccans. They build the crux of their team on players they know very well that have actually gone through the Egyptian league, the Egyptian system. Apart from the striking options, now if we go majorly back to the defense and the defense, the goalkeeping, and the midfield department, they are mostly players from the Egyptian league. So what does it give you? They know each other in and out. It's just in the striking force you see them bringing Pretorians from Egypt, from outside the continent. But I believe going forward, if they keep on what they are doing, they should be able to get it right. The Egyptians are definite overwhelming favorites for tomorrow's match. I don't see anything coming out of that match except for an Egyptian win.
Okay. Egypt has won this tournament um, 7 times, which makes them the most successful side in Africa when it comes to the AFCON. In the last, let's say, in the last 10 years, 10 years, they've come to the final twice. Once in 2017 against Cameroon when they lost 2-1, and last time out against Senegal. Yes,
They
last
lost one
time out against
to
Senegal. When
Cameroon and they lost the last final to Senegal.
Senegal, yes. So don't you think that that will be running into their mind as the tournament begins, and also in this match that we should set up the as we play Cameroon, we should set up the template. As we play Mozambique, we should put in a template down, beat them handsomely, and tell the world or tell African football that we have arrived and we are primed to win this tournament.
Just as I said earlier, I said the only people who are going to stand against the Egyptians tomorrow are the Egyptians themselves. If they take the match the way they should take it as another match, they will definitely streamroll the Mozambicans. But you can never tell what will happen. This is African football. Sometimes the teams who you see as minnows, they just come up, pack the balls, do your typical Murillo kind of play, and before you know, you get
Yeah.
stressed. You get stressed. In such matches where you are expected to win matches by landslide, once the team is able to
Yes.
frustrate you early into the match, what you see next is that the team gets the favorite start getting frustrated and a lot of errors start creeping into the game. We saw that into their game. We saw that with the Senegalese in the last Nations Cup. Despite they won the tournament, up till the semi-final, up to the quarterfinals, the Senegalese were only recording 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 victories. But what matters was
Yeah.
that they were winning. So I'd say the same thing for the Egyptians. The Mozambicans might just set up shop and say, come and break us down. And the longer it goes, the harder it becomes. However, just as I said earlier,
Yeah.
they have the magic in them, the magic of the Mosala of this beautiful continent, Africa, who I believe at any time can actually turn a game around. It just needs the support cast to at least just put in a little bit more or two, and they should be fine. But for tomorrow's match, which is exactly what we are looking at now,
Yeah.
I don't see anything really holding them down. But what I'm also not looking at is I don't think it will be an high scoring game. Maybe a 2-0 victory or a 1-0 victory will suffice. But what matters is that they start their tournament on a winning note.
If you look at the Egyptian team from the you look at the goalkeeper department, you have Gabaski, as Abdul Gabar, who was here last time out. Somebody that has sat down on the bench for years, understudied and hardly. And last time
Eshan,
out, he got his moment. we know
yes,
we know the we know his performance last time out. For me, it's one of the best, but not the best goalkeeper, one of the best keepers in
tenants.
Africa. Yes.
Yes.
I look at the defense as well. All the players in that defense actually plays in Egypt. The same thing with the midfield, and you have 4 players. They attack only 4 players from Trezeguet to Mohamed Salah um to Hassan Ahmed Hassan, who plays in Turkey. Trezeguet also plays in Turkey, and you have 5 players in the attack that plays their football virtually in, outside Egypt. They play outside Egypt. So what do you think this means? What do you think this means? You have virtually only, let's say, 5% of the players, 5% or let me say five, is it 5% or 10% of the players playing their flight outside Egypt in this sport?
As I said earlier, it has always been the initial template to always use players from their local league. When they won 3 consecutive African tournaments, 26, 28, and 2010, they used practically, in fact, the top player in that tournament then used to be Mohamed Abutreka. He never left the shores of the continent. He was an already stalwart, but he was known global stage. I remember the match when they played the Confederations Cup against Brazil. He practically tore the Brazil midfield, based with so much plethora of stars, the Kakas of this world, the Junior of this world. He kept bamboozling that midfield. So it has always been the Egyptian template not to go out. They've always been based their national team always on their local players, team players from Al Ahly, players from Zamalek, and players from mostly now that we've had the pyramid also coming up, and it has always worked for them. If you look at now, a lot of countries are actually stealing that template. If you look at the South African national team now coming to this tournament, the coach just looked. He just looked went practically just went and just collected everybody from the Mamelodi Sundown team. Come the same way you've been performing for your club, come and perform for the national team, and it has been working. If you look at the Moroccans also, they do the same thing, except for one or two stars that come from Europe, the Bakimi, the Unawi now. Most of their national team is always based on home base, and it helps because what do you see? You see, because these players are actually home based. Once in a while, you see the coach can easily call them when they have any space in between. He can easily call a camp, have them for 1 or 2 weeks, and before you know, his style and his pattern is blended into these players. And it has really helped the Egyptian national team. Because what
Okay.
the can't really affect the core of his team. They know themselves in and out. And that is why to African continent, you see them, they keep performing. Okay, accepted they've lost two finals in a row, but it has not really affected them because what do you see? You look at them, they keep getting to the latter stages of the tournament. Unlike those in West Africa who actually have the biggest players in Europe, they are not able to actually blend because they come from different flocks of football. You see a player coming is the best in the Spanish league, you see another player coming is the best in the Italian league, and they come and just blend into the tournament. And it has really helped them. But what so going forward, I think that template has actually helped the Egyptians, and if they stick to it, they should get what they want.
Egypt is being coached by Luis Victor, and uh, do you think the Portuguese have what it takes to take this Egyptian team to the final?
Yes, I believe so. Because actually at the moment now the Egyptian team is actually on the high, and I think they have the advantage of actually starting the tournament with a team that they should be easily win. So that gives them an advantage going into the tournament. They can take their flow into the tournament. Once they are able, if they are able to easily dispatch the Mozambicans, that brings out the confidence, brings out the flow. For the players who are just joining the tournament, they get the ease, and everybody gets into the flow of the tournament. I think for them, AFCON 2024 should be a very good tournament for Egypt. I don't think they should have any problems both for tomorrow's match and going forward into the tournament.
Okay. So looking at the Mozambican side quickly, what do you think they should do going to this match? Should they just go there and have fun, or should they go there and then look at this game as something that they can get one or two things, one point or a draw from it?
Definitely, if the Comoros team could go to the last AFCON and throw out Egypt out of throw Ghana out of the group stage, then that means that the Mozambicans don't have anything to fear. They do not have the best stars to play with, but they have players. They have players who can actually stand hold their own for them. So they should just go into the tomorrow's match and also into the tournament, not actually being afraid of anything. Where they have to hold shop and say, okay, break us down, they do that. Hold on, try and concede less goals and hope for the best. Where they have to come out and actually try and maybe express themselves a bit, they come out. I think that should just be a mix of what they should do. But more than for tomorrow's match, I believe they should just come out and actually hold shop. The Egyptians are not known for their very high scoring rate, so why not just try, do your best to stifle Mo Salah and hope that the rest don't have the best of days. And why not? You might just pick out an unknown draw from nowhere. Please, we're always hoping. Everybody always hopes for the underdog to have a good tournament, and I don't think is any different for the Mozambicans. I will hope they just come up and get a very unlikely point against Egypt. But as I said earlier, the odds are far against them.
So like you said that the odds are far against them. Um, so we shouldn't expect any surprise as pundits and as
Well,
football fans,
yes,
as
we
neutral
shouldn't.
football fans.
We shouldn't. But as I said earlier, don't forget the Comoros adventure in the last Nations Cup. what they did to everybody in Africa. It was in fact it was the story of the tournament. So I don't think anybody should just write off any team that we know is not really a football powerhouse in Africa. We might be in for a shock.
Okay, so final prediction for the match tomorrow.
2-0.